Reactions have come out to Jake Paul's next fight. It has just been announced that Jake Paul is taking on Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., the son of a legend, at Honda Center, Anaheim, California on Saturday, June 28th on DAZN pay-per-view, co-promoted by Golden Boy. As Jake Paul put out his first statement saying, 5 years ago, I stepped into the ring for my pro debut after one amateur fight, and every fight since has been a step towards becoming world champion. I just defeated the baddest man on the planet and broke multiple records, and now I'm going against a former world champion with 54 wins who Canelo could barely beat. Chavez Jr. is a Mexican, but I, El Gallo de Dorado, Mexican, knock him the F out. On Saturday, June 28th, live on DAZN pay-per-view, I will defeat Julio and make Chavez Sr. proud in ways Jr. never has. Viva la Puerto Rico. Showing a picture of Chavez Sr. reacting to Chavez Jr.'s fight against Daniel Jacobs. As the co-main event features the WBA and WBO Cruiserweight World Championship between Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez and Yunuel Dorticos. Dylan Dennis says Chavez is inactive, Chavez has just left rehab, Chavez robbed Uriah Hall, Chavez lost to Silva, and Chavez is 40. Perfect Jake Paul opponent. Fight Oracle said very on brand for Jake Paul. Chavez Jr. attempted to harm himself and was committed involuntarily to a psychiatric hospital a little over a year ago. How much longer can this scam go on? Nadim Haddad says Chavez Jr. might be the only former world champion boxer in history under 40 who Jake Paul can beat. Chavez Jr. reacted to the fight saying, Jake Paul, you don't play box. I am not some YouTuber or UFC fighter or beating up old retired boxers. I am a real former boxing world champion, and July 28th you will find out what it is like to be in with a real Mexican style. Viva Mexico. So Chavez Jr. with his first warning to Jake Paul saying that you don't play boxing. Ryan Garcia recently gave his take on the fight saying it really depends on which Julio shows up on the night.
Jake Paul or Chavez Jr.?
Oh, shit.
No, he's gonna come back. He's gonna come back.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Wait, who you got on that one?
He's going this way. Watch out.
I really don't know what the state Julio is in.
He's good. He's good.
Is he?
Yeah.
I mean, can Jake handle Mexican pressure fighter?
Thank you.
No, it's tough. Yeah, you're not used to that, you know?
Oscar De La Hoya reacted as he's going to be co-promoting this event. He said Golden Boy and MVP are teaming up to take over the Honda Center on June 28th for an unforgettable night of boxing. Don't miss the unstoppable history-making WBA and WBO champ Zurdo Ramirez, who is defending his titles against the dangerous former champion Dorticos, go as the co-main event for Jake Paul versus Chavez Jr. on DAZN pay-per-view. Get ready for fireworks in the ring. Wade Plem said, I'm on the fence about this one. Video tomorrow. Fred Beck said, I can't wait for this one. With Jake Paul saying, going back to Disney for my next fight. As Jake Paul just retweeted a message saying the fact that after all these years people still refuse to give Jake any credit or respect is insane. We're talking about a guy who opened boxing gyms, elevated women's boxing, fought for better fighter pay, brought massive attention to the sport, and even won Knockout of the Year in 2021 as a YouTuber. I found it really funny that Jake is doing exactly what every professional boxer does, but because it's Jake, the hate is automatic. In fact, he's fought tougher opponents than 90% of pro boxers at this stage in their careers. Go look up your favorite fighter's early record. Seriously, check it. Most of them were fighting Uber drivers or worse. Jake did all this with zero amateur background, coming straight from YouTube and Disney. That's not just impressive, that's unheard of. As many seem to be picking Jake Paul to beat Chavez Jr. in this fight, here's a clip from an interview from Ellie Sickback.
I heard today that Chavez Jr. is going to fight Jake Paul in the summer, and they're fighting for a championship WBA belt. Who wins?
Who's he fighting?
Jake Paul and Chavez Jr.
I got Jake. Chavez Jr.? Yeah, I got Jake. Chavez, he's not this one. Same boat. He hasn't been the same.
50-50 fight.
When's the last I don't give it 50.
He fought last year, I think.
I give it to Jake. I want to go for Chavez, but he's not this.
Okay.
But recently, Ryan Garcia had an open workout for his upcoming fight against Rolly Romero, where other people seem to be picking Chavez Jr., saying that he can pack a punch.
Jake Paul or Chavez Jr., who do you like in that fight?
Junior.
Decision or knockout?
Oh, I ain't Junior can stop him. You remember, Chavez Junior can punch. So I've been talking to Jack Bowman. Chavez can really punch. He's got his dad's power.
And his chin.
As Jake Paul posted an ESPN article saying Viva, which shows some statements from the organizers of this event. Some details of the fight have been confirmed. This being a 10-round fight at a weight of 200 pounds will air on DAZN pay-per-view. With Jake Paul saying, I'm going against a former champion who con man Canelo couldn't finish. Chavez is a Mexican, but I have the will and heart of the great Mexican fighters. I will knock out Julio and make Chavez Sr. proud. Another massive event for MVP with some Oscar de la Hoya seasoning added to the show. Viva la Puerto Rico. With Nikita Badarian saying Chavez Jr. has always been on the short list of fighters that Jake Paul has targeted. After the Tyson fight, the original plan was to fight Chavez Jr. next. However, the Canelo opportunity presented itself and we paused discussions with Chavez. Jake Paul was originally in negotiations, supposedly finalizing a deal before it crashed at the 11th hour as Canelo signed a 4-fight deal with Saudi Arabia and Turkey Al Sheikh. Chavez Jr. said, first of all, we'll show what I can do, that everything is in the right place in my life, mentally and physically. I feel rejuvenated and 10 years younger. Second, I want to thank MVP for taking the risk of fighting me. Unfortunately for their problem child, they're going to have a big problem this June, one they won't know how to resolve. Hopefully when I beat him, people won't underestimate this win. Oscar de la Hoya chimed in, once again, Golden Boy is proving that we're willing to work with anyone to deliver the biggest and most exciting events in boxing. As this event looks like it's going to be going head to head with UFC 317 on International Fight Week at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Nikita Badarian said, I'm excited to work with Oscar de la Hoya, who is the only former fighter to successfully operate a promotional company. Like Jake Paul, Oscar has his haters, but that's because both move the needle like very few do and are not afraid to speak their mind. As some coaches in Brick House Boxing have predicted this fight, thinking that Jake Paul is gonna get it done.
Jake Paul, Chavez Jr. this summer, they're fighting for a WBA belt. What do you think?
I'm going with Jake Paul though.
Why?
Because I just feel like, first of all, I'm always for the underdog. Second of all, I feel like Jake, he works hard, you know? Hard work always overrides talent.
Yogi, Chavez Jr. against Jake Paul. It might happen this summer for a WBA belt. 2 wins and why?
I think Jake Paul wins that.
Why? Chavez, former champion, 160, great chin, comes from boxing pedigree.
I know, but I think you can't never count out Jake Paul. I think I told you that before. I think he's getting better, and I think that he's taking it very serious. He's dedicated his life to boxing, and I never go against him at this point because he knows how to pick him.
I think he beat Tommy Fury in that fight. It was a very close fight, controversial.
Many people seeming to side with Jake Paul in this fight, even with Chavez Jr. having like 5 times the amount of professional fights and experience on paper. Many favoring Jake Paul here. Only one person in Brickhouse Boxing seemed to have even favored Julio Cesar Chavez Jr.
Chavez Jr. or Jake Paul?
Jake Paul.
Chavez Jr. or Jake Paul?
Chavez Jr.
That's the only one in the deal.
Even Paulie Malignaggi said that Jake Paul would probably whoop Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. This was before the fight was even announced.
There's no way we can let that idiot Chavez Jr. fight Jake Paul because Jake will beat him, okay? The gorilla punches will beat Chavez Jr.
So Jake Paul's return to the ring since his fight against Mike Tyson is finally here. He's not going to be fighting on Netflix this time, instead on DAZN pay-per-view. But regardless, he's getting in there with a guy who is a lot more experienced than him, but also a little bit older, a little bit smaller, fighting around Jake's weight at 200 pounds. Chavez Jr.'s last fight was on the undercard of Jake Paul versus Mike Perry. He took on Uriah Hall, won a 6-round unanimous decision in a pretty lackluster performance, but regardless, let me know your thoughts and reactions in the comments down below. What do you guys make of this fight? And I'll be sure to keep you guys in the loop with all future fights and updates, so be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you guys enjoy.